I'm going to be harsh with this one. Going to get the lowest ranking it can. That's not good. That's unacceptable. Overall, KINO Der Toten gets... Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. And of course, we have Safety Check, episode 4. Like we said in the last episode, we are skipping the Reese because we are going to class it as the Giant. So we move straight on to Black Ops 1. And we've moved to KINO Der Toten, a classic map. Now, at the Cinema of the Dead, you got to treat people well. So let's go and have a look and see what we can find on this map. Starting off with our first hazard, I think we're going to have to put tripping hazards down. I mean, we got these barrier things, whatever you call them, the massive cable for the pack punch. I mean, you are going to trip over that at some point, let's be honest. There's planks everywhere, cables all over the floor. I mean, there's a whole mirror here, which isn't good. That's also a different safety concern in itself, but we'll get back to that. The floor is broken and uneven. You could definitely fall in here and twist an ankle. Chairs on the floor, massive ropes just hanging down that you could fall over those so easily. And more cables, which could be dangerous yet again. So I think it's safe to say that there's definitely some tripping hazards around this map. And I think there's, by the looks of it, a lot of them. Especially when you look at the likes of like how the floors are completely broken. Like you're tripping over these. You're definitely tripping over these. So like I said, I'm going to be harsh with this one. And tripping hazards is going to get the lowest ranking it can. It's going to get 70. Okay, let's move on through the map. Now, I don't think there's any equipment issues that we're going to have to worry about. And there's definitely no weather elements that we're going to have to worry about. I mean, we're inside for the majority of it. And when we are outside, I mean, it's a little bit cloudy, but it's mainly sunny. I mean, so you can't complain too much. But like we were saying a minute ago, there is a lot of shrapnel around the map. When I spoke about that broken mirror, I mean, there's another one here. There's glass hanging off of that. There's glass all over the floor when you actually look at it properly. This is everywhere. That could really hurt you there. I mean, who was smashing all these mirrors up on the floor? And they thought to just leave it there as well? Like, you can't have that, dude. That's not good. That's unacceptable in my opinion. So shrapnel is definitely going to have to be another risk added to this map. And because there's quite a lot of glass, I am going to give it an overall of a 75. Now then, what else is there that could be a low tier threat? I'm seeing blood again, which obviously isn't good. That to me screams hygiene issues, because let's be honest, if you're going to the cinema, you're going to be eating popcorn, drinking drinks, eating other sorts of snacks. You don't want blood all around you. You want to be in a nice clean area. You don't want all this blood on the floor and around you. That's just not good enough. Mind you, apart from the blood, there's not much else to make it a massively big risk. And I mean, someone has left the bins out for quite a while by looks. They are gathering flies. That could be another hygiene issue. Someone's left this bin lid open and left the trash out on the side instead of in it. That's never good. And yeah, people just seem to be leaving their bins all over the place outside instead of actually putting them away. So it's not going to get the highest rating when it comes to hygiene, but I am going to give it an overall of 80. I might have given it slightly lower if the bin bags were completely broken and split apart, but they're not. So we're going to give it that. And if I'm being honest, I think that's mainly it in terms of low tier risks. So we're going to move on to our next category, which is the medium tier. And I'm already noticing a few medium tier risks here, if I'm being honest. First things first, we're going to talk about the building stability. Because overall, it doesn't look too bad, you know? I mean, you're looking around here, everything looks pretty solid. You have got the odd bit and bob where like the ceiling's falling apart, but not terrible. But my main concern with the stability of this building is this area, the main room. Look at the state of this part. I mean, this has completely collapsed. So that part has to be completely out of bounds, in my opinion. I mean, look, everything that was holding it up, keeping it stable, is just completely gone. It doesn't look good. Even on this side, it's starting to fall off as well. Imagine if you were sitting there and that started crumbling apart. You wouldn't be in a good spot. Again, a tiny little, I say little, but a little hole in the roof. Not anything too serious, luckily. And there is another one there, but again, not causing us problems. Like we said, it's this section here that's the main issue. I mean, look, these guys would literally be hanging off the edge over there. So building stability is definitely going to have to go down as a risk. But I'm going to give it an overall of a 60. Only because the majority of them don't actually affect it too bad. And the parts that are affected, like here, you can't actually get up. So we're going to let them off a little. Apart from the building stability, there are a couple of other medium tier threats that I've noticed. And both of them relate to the traps. I mean, we have more electric traps, which, you know, you're not going to be able to run through these. That is going to hurt. That's going to kill you. or give you some brain damage of some sorts. On top of this, I have noticed that this is constantly sparking, which isn't good because, you know, what if you catch that? Oh my god, it's right above my head. What if I didn't notice that in time and that electrocuted me? Not good, not good, man. So electrocution is going to have to go down, and I am going to have to give it a rating of 50. On top of this, and going back to the traps, I'm just going to pull this and let you see for yourself. I think that would hurt if you walk through it. Let's be honest, that's really going to hurt. That is a high grade burn if I've ever seen one. And whilst I'm not really feeling like walking through it right now, I'm going to take a guess and believe that that is going to hurt me. So again, we are going to give a 50 for high grade burns. Now, apart from the medium tier and the low tier risks, I can't really find any major faults when it comes to high grade risks. Now, there's no explosions on, there's no chance of drowning. And whilst you could argue that I guess if you did fall off here, you could impale yourself on something, there's nothing like majorly sharp looking that could really hurt you. The only thing that I could think of is that you could be crushed. And it comes back to this. What if I'm under this and something fell off and crushed me? That would kill me. These things here are way too heavy to not kill me. So I am going to actually give one high tier risk for this map, and it is going to be being crushed by objects, and it's going to get an overall of a 20, because whilst it could happen, there's only a few instances where I think it possibly could, like if you're exactly here, or if you're standing exactly here, or if you're standing exactly under here. And how many times are you actually going to be standing there? Not too many, and that's why I'm going to give it a 20. Okay, now that we found all the hazards, of course we've got to move on to safety features. And the question is, does Kino have anything to keep you safe? Now, if I'm being honest, I really struggled to find any sort of safety features when it came to this map. The best I could find was railings. There is no sort of PPE, no sort of warning signs, and no fire safety anywhere. The only thing, like I said, are railings. We've got the railings all along the stairs, which always helps. And I'm looking like if you are up here, you've got all the railings up here, which keep you inside the areas and safe, which is always a benefit. Of course, there's no railings here, but that's completely destroyed, so that's not a surprise. But all the railings going up the stairs and up the top are still intact, pretty much, apart from like that little break there, but we're not going to bother taking points off of that. And if I'm honest, this part is blocking you off from where the danger lies, so I guess I should add railings as a safety addition to the map. So it does have one addition, which is nice, but if I'm honest, I think it's actually going to let it down a bit overall with the rating, considering it's only got one. But we are going to give KINO DER TOTEN a +5 for safety railings. And with that all said and done, that is everything checked on KINO DER TOTEN. Just to recap, as always, we have tripping hazards with a rating of 70, shrapnel with a rating of 75, hygiene with a rating of 80, building stability with a rating of 60, electrocution with a rating of 50, high grade burns with a rating of 50, and the chance of being crushed with a rating of 20. Overall, this gives us a mean total of 58. But of course, we have the one safety feature as well, just about, which was the railings, which gives us a +5, meaning that overall, KINO DER TOTEN gets a 63 out of 100. Now, this was nowhere near as high as I thought it was going to be when it comes to safety. But when I looked deeper into it, I'm not surprised, to be honest. This map is not as safe as I thought it would be. But either way, like I said, that does mean this map does get an overall rating of 63, and that actually makes it the third highest rated map on this list, which actually makes it fall below Nacht der Toten by 3 points. Now, when you think about it, you'd think Nacht der Toten isn't exactly safe. If you go back to the first video, you can remember what it looked like, but it did have 2 types of safety equipment in it, which gave it a massive boost. And unfortunately, like we said, that is where KINO DER TOTEN lacked. It didn't have any safety measures realistically that could have boosted it up. I mean, if it had even one more safety feature in the map, it would have actually got an overall rating of 68 and would have only been 2 points off our safest map overall. But unfortunately, these guys didn't think this through, and that is why it's going to go in the needs work category. But hey, this is why we do these things. We got to make sure these maps are safe. And sometimes the maps that you think are safe aren't actually as safe as you thought they were. And that is why we're here. But this is the end of today's video. the next map that we will be ranking will actually be none other than 5. And if 5 isn't safer, then I do not know what is going on in the zombies world. But I think 5 has the potential to be one of the safest maps we've played so far. But if you want to find out if it's going to be the safest map we've played so far, then you're going to have to leave a like on the video. And of course, you're going to have to subscribe for more. But apart from that, I hope you have enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one.